Hello, can you hear me? If you are in room one at the moment, can you hear me? I want to see your comment. If you are here with me, I just want to see your comment. All right, I can see that. Okay, okay, okay. Keep joining and keep sharing this link so that we can have much more people joining us. So we are yeah, welcome back from the workshop session. I believe you all enjoyed the workshop session, and I believe that you've learned so much that you can, practice and go back to. So welcome to room one of AWS Community Day West Africa 2025. So this today, whatever you've done in the first session is just the beginning of a lot for you. So there is a lot waiting for you here that you are going to gain. So welcome again to room one. So here we have a number of speakers that have been prepared for you to address different sessions. So I need you to be prepared. There's a lot you are going to learn here. We have three speakers that are going to be speaking and be doing a lot of justice to different topics. So I need you to stay with us. I need you to stay here. I need you to stay. And please share this link, invite somebody so that we can kickstart immediately. So the first speaker on the list is going to be speaking on an important topic that says AI prevention, social engineering in mobile money transaction by Aha. So I don't want to tell you the name of the speaker yet. So the speaker is coming up very soon. Why we do that? I need you to also understand that there is another session coming up. That the session is the AI SRE unlocking Amazon EKS cluster inside with KGPT and Amazon. So those of you that have tried that have wanted to learn something about Amazon EKS cluster, please don't go. There's a lot for you to learn here. And there's the last session that is going to be coming up that is AI meets DevOps. For the DevOps engineer, I know you are going to be very much interested in this. So we have so much for you, and there are Q&A sessions in all of this. So I need you to stay here and stay with me. So my name is Damilari Odulesi. I'm your moderator for this session, and with me is Mimi Swem. She's going to be joining soon. She's the co-moderator for this session. So for this room. So as we, because we need to, work with time. So I'm going to be bringing up my first speaker for today. Is going to be dealing with our first topic, which says AI prevention, social engineering in mobile money transaction. And his name is Daniel Clement. Mobile money transaction, this is something very, very important that we all want to uh, know how to handle. So um, I need you to prepare your mind, and as we have so much for you today. So I'm going to be okay. Hold on, I'm trying to share a few things for you so that we can kickstart this session. All right. I believe you are all here now and you can hear me clearly. So so today we have AWS Community Day, West Africa. And as you know, the theme of this year's uh, West Community Day is AI driven enterprise. So like I said, my next speaker is going to be speaking on unlocking Amazon Ike. Okay, so the name of my next speaker is Daniel Clement. So, Daniel Clement, this is what I'm going to do for this. I would love that you do a lot of introduction about yourself. There's so much I can say. However, there is so much more that you can say about yourself, much more than what I can say. So, Daniel Clement is going to be joining us right about now. Daniel Clement, are you here, please?
Hello.
Okay, Daniel Clement, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, great to know that you are
Okay.
here. Can we hear from you? People want to know you, people want to know who you are, and can you just do a brief introduction of yourself? Then we can take it up from there. So you have the floor. You're welcome, Daniel.
Okay. Thank you very much. So my name is Clement Daniel, and I'm a cloud advocate, cloud, and also an AWS community builder, and also a cyber advisor for security space, and in Atlantic Council. And I love everything about cloud and love preaching about cloud. And yeah, basically for me, in that way. And lastly, too, I also love about one thing about architecting. So I also do a lot of architecting or of late, and I really enjoy that space too. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, okay, Daniel. Thank you for that brief introduction about yourself.
Sure.
So, I believe you have so much for us
Yeah,
that you
very
want to
much,
tell us
very
today.
much.
All
Sure.
right, can you okay, let's start your session right away.
Okay. Okay. Can you
So,
go back? Okay, sure. So, welcome to today's session. I'll be speaking about AI prevention, social engineering, and mobile money transaction. And this topic is one of the topics that we really need to pay attention to, and every detail that I would make in that direction, and about mobile money and how we can safeguard, or how telcos or individuals building system can safeguard our tech ecosystem, and making sure that we don't get scammed or robbed of our hard-earned money online on one-day transaction. So as I said again, I'm Clement Daniel, a dev solution engineer at Adaptive Computing Solution Limited. Yeah. So let's move on to the agenda for today. So today I'll be speaking about, I'll give an overview of fraud. Please can you move on to the next slide? Give an overview of fraud, just to get the perspective of what I've gone through the past years, and what are some of the things that we need to look out for. I'll also be speaking about vulnerability landscape, the new modern trends that are affecting the telcos especially, and why AI in this space. Why should we use AI in this space to tackle those or handle those challenges? And most importantly, we're looking about economic implications, and a bit of a case study. And this is where I designed a solution using AWS to tackle this challenge. And we'll be looking at some mitigation framework, a little bit of key takeaways and Q&A, and we'll be done. So let's move on to the first slide. So in most recent years, there have been high records of number of transaction or payments, since we now change the evolutionary trend for our technology way, or the way we do things in a technology way. And most especially, day in and day out, we go about our daily businesses, making sure that we make payments for either our goods or services. But have you ever thought how secure that those things are? So when you look at the online transaction, it's been reported that it will rise to a what's it called, $1 trillion annually by 2027. So that means that people are still in the business of doing transaction um, in mobile money or in online. And this is a good news, okay, but also a bad news in terms of there are also been an increase since the recent data. 1.5 billion US dollars have been lost through in 2023, have been lost through mobile money fraud or online scam. And this is a worry alarm that we need to pay attention or build system to tackle. And this is what we're going to be saying today. And also, you could see that most of these interactions or most of this transaction has been online. So you could know that those who are kind of physical payment or physical exchange of services were not affected. But 40%, 47% of those transactions were anything that has to do with online transaction. And when you also look at some of the things that fintechs has of late or over the past years have done to tackle this challenge, is basically just to maybe build a mobile app or have a web app that would maybe do multiple verifications of the individual, maybe accessing their bank account or making transfer, and maybe some behavioral analytics of how the user is managing his or her account, and most importantly, also having a pattern driven, let's say, model to make sure that if maybe person X is sending this amount of money over a period of time, and we know this is the amount of money, this is the amount of money this person is sending, going forward, if the person now is making big transaction, there should be a question mark within it, and that is what the big Mastercard, um, Visa are also doing to making sure that they are curving this gap. But it's not enough. It's not enough because there are so many ways hackers or bad actors have gone in far lengths in making sure that they find new ways in making sure that they attack or they get hold of people money. So also mostly they also do what they some of the technique that they do is maybe tokenization and de-tokenization of the when you're making payments. So behind the scenes, there's some encryption going on, making sure that the transaction is it's secured and is preventing from any money in the middle attack to happen. But that has got to some extent that is not helping anymore or is not defensive enough in order to do what to solve the current challenges today. So when you look at going forward, when you look at the the challenges, next slide, when you look at the challenges that we we are facing, especially in these big companies, our my threat intelligence isn't adaptive or adapting quickly enough to the trends of the bad actors. So maybe you are doing a pattern based analysis of your transaction. There's a new way of the hackers of today or bad actors of today have devised a new way in order to do what in order to make sure that this pattern based technology or techniques we are implementing wouldn't survive, and that is a worrying thing that it's still going on. And most importantly, to some of the challenges is customers do not or trust is at risk in doing what in caught up in these implementations. So there are certain implementations that the company would do, maybe would want to do voice verification, for instance, and now maybe legitimate users would be flagged out by the system. Okay, so these are some of the worrying things that companies are thinking of how to make sure that they stay within the protective space or mode whilst making sure that their customers' trust are not being compromised. And for lastly, when you look at the overhead of employing people to do what? To monitor your system. So SOC analysts to monitor your system. It's one, it's very I'm not, and by the way, I'm not saying it's not good to employ or killing someone's business, but when you look at the growing need of these sophisticated attacks we are getting, it goes beyond the understanding or goes beyond the eye of human beings to also make sure to keep a strict eye on the system, to making sure that the system doesn't do what, that the system operates according to what it's been designed for. And we humans sometimes in the era of AI, because most of the bad attacks now do what, add AI into this what, into this space, and you could see that some threats are what, are beyond the designs of the traditional system or traditional protective policies that we have in our space. Okay, so that is the reason why there's a need for us to do what, have a solution in order to do what, tackle this growing challenge or emerging threat. So going forward, when you look at the modern threats that we have, and I've listed the most common ones or the ones that are prevalent in today's or in recent times, are traditional failures. Of course, in 2025 or in 2024, or maybe in some years to come, traditional system or traditional rule-based mechanism would still fail or wouldn't stand the test of time during AI, because it's more likely like traditional based system or security system does allow or deny. Okay. And that, even though it does a bit of deep packet tracing and all those things are based on allow or deny. Still boils down to allow or deny. And some of the threats that AI would introduce or AI is introducing to our system or bad actors are using to introduce to our system go past or has what's it called, or surpasses or overrides this rule that we are setting our system. So traditional failures, talking about legacy system especially, wouldn't wouldn't stand the test of time during the AI period. And this is a modern threat, even though it's an old threat is a modern threat that we need to do what we need to look at in the coming years. Even though companies are telcos are trying to making sure that they modernize their legacy system, it's still not enough to tackle challenges dealing with mobile money transaction. Okay. And most importantly, and this is where our topic will be based on, from phishing to faking. So when I say this, I'm just trying to paint a picture whereby at first, even though currently it's still happening, sure, you will get maybe phishing attacks and all those things, and system will be compromised. In the space of mobile money, currently, what they do is that they deceive you, and simply social engineering. So they deceive you maybe to be a family member or maybe to have mistakenly sent their funds into your account, and they need you to what, maybe send it back to them, or they tell you, I've ordered this item, is in your name, because they have technology that would match your number to your name, so they can randomly put any number, telephone number, they call you, and is this maybe John? You have a package, pay this amount of money. You'd wonder for some time, but say, okay, it's fine. Maybe somebody sent to me as a surprise or something like that. You make the payment, and you wouldn't find your items, or maybe you're making a transaction and somebody will intercept the line and maybe redirect you to send the money into a different account. This is the challenge we are facing currently. And having done my research, or when I was building this, is because it's something I'm building, which you see in the use case, no company or no telco have gone this far, or maybe probably they thought of it, to build a system that would make sure that would address this social engineering form of attack. Okay, so that is also a modern threat that we also do what we need to pay attention to. And lastly, old security flaws modernize with same attack. And when I say this, those who are familiar with the telecommunication space, you would know that the diameter protocol or the signaling systems 7 or SS7 protocol does what? Is an old threat that they thought or we thought modernizing it with 5G or 4G would do what? Would solve the problem, but it hasn't solved the problem. And let me just walk you through a little bit about this protocol or this exploitation. So the SS7, okay, and the diameter protocol is an old protocol, okay, or it was an old protocol that gave the way or gave hackers the chance to do what? Intercept both 3G, 2G, and 3G network. Okay, so you could be making a call, somebody would then accept your line and tell you maybe listen to what they are saying, money transaction, transfer to this account. Same thing for diameter protocol. So the diameter protocol seemed to be the saver of the world by then. Okay, thinking that okay, let's build a protocol that will solve this challenge. Okay, and this protocol is also based on the 4G technology, and is also still affecting it. So that means that whichever way or whichever mechanism we build in addressing a single challenge, there will definitely be a security risk that will do what? That would make sure that it attacks it. Okay. And that's what these two protocols is talking about. So even though we are seeing the era of 4G of 5G, since this protocol is still living in the 2G and 3G network, of which a good number of people are still using, okay, this attack is still what? Relevant. Moving on, when we look at why AI in this mix is what is very, very, very important. Okay, so in these terms, when you look at the pattern recognition at scale, okay, what AI is doing for us is that it's making sure that we detect complex trends, okay, across massive data sets, okay, which is very crucial. So maybe a fintech industry, their transaction, mobile money transaction or bank transfer transaction, we're able to do what with the help of AI, we're able to do what track all these challenges and identify what the anomalies within these transactions. Okay, because you could know for a fact that a small company, maybe a fintech, a company will come to you and tell you that we would want to integrate our API into your system, okay, to make transactions to our customers. And one thing you know that you will see them if you don't take care, you see them doing what money laundering, using your system as a money laundering channel to making sure that they get themselves richer or do commit criminal activities. So with the use of AI, we are able to do what? Have an operational intelligence which is very proactive in analyzing what all these transactions. Okay. And when I talk about training machine to what to hear lies, it's just the combination of the ARS, which is the automatic recognition speech, and also the natural language processing model. So putting these two models together, we're able to do what? We're able to identify a particular voice, okay, and know that maybe this call is not coming from our loved ones, which he's claiming to be, okay, and maybe attacking in getting our money or maybe in asking for a favor or to scam us, basically. Okay. So these two models in combination will do what? Have the capability of doing what? Identifying inconsistencies in what? In human communication. Okay. And that's this true sentimental what? Analysis. Okay. And when this is being operationalized, is able to do what? Detect fraud and also enhance compliance auditing and also behavioral analysis. When I talk about behavioral analysis, I'm just making an emphasis on the it monitors the activities of the user within the maybe the platform. So example, maybe you are using Bing as a browser. Whatever activities you do, you go here, you go here. All those things are being taken as logs and being sent to a centralized server. And these are your activities, or these are your behavioral activities that you do, and can be more or less more emphasis can be, or more analysis can be placed in making sure that they know what you think, or maybe how you go about your things online. And that is it. And most importantly, why AI? So AI helps in continuous learning. So you could see that there's a never-ending situation whereby we're able to do what? We're able to still continue to train our data or our model, to making sure that we have a better system. So the let's say the attacker is two step ahead with enough of information and the help of AI, we're able to do what? Still get a grip of what? Or stay ahead, or being proactive in addressing this fraudulent, or identifying this fraudulent mobile money transaction within the fintech space. So as we are moving on, we will also be talking about what are some of the implications within the space. So most importantly, it leads to revenue leakage, or the telcos or the companies that's what go bankrupt. And most importantly, looking at the negative side of it, when they go bankrupt, especially for the telcos, what they do is that probably you wouldn't know, or you hear that, oh, they've gotten a cyber attack. In order to fill up those gaps, you would get maybe high number of you now be purchasing maybe airtime or bundle at a higher price. Okay, because of, I'm not saying that is the factor, but I'm saying this is one of the factors that would do what, that would that would make sure that we don't get the best of service when they fall into this pit. And also looking at trust as a currency, both in negative and positive way, telcos or companies who would, or their system would get hacked in this space, would one lose customer trust, and that leads to money being lost, right? And because, especially in the fintech space, what they do is all about money, and not keeping your system up to date with the latest changes could affect you and could make your business collapse. So that is it, as looking at trust as a currency, as an implication of affecting the fintech space in that direction. So moving on to our case study, and I would like to share my screen here. A sec. So this is the solution I have built in order to do what? Tackle this challenge. And most importantly, let me walk you through the solution. So in most sense, creating very good scenario for you here. A user would make a phone call. Okay, let's say somebody's calling you. I've sent you this amount of money, either from a family member or maybe somebody you know or you don't know. Okay, but it would obviously lead to scam. Okay, AWS transcriber would do what? Would take in or would convert this voice information, just like what Alexa does, will convert this voice mechanism or speech into a text. But before he does that, within the system, because we are identifying fraudulent transaction in our mobile money space, okay, we are setting, or I am setting custom keywords, just like share me your PIN, share me your PIN one, send your account number, all those sensitive information when it comes to what when it comes to mobile money transfer. And this, so when a user makes those comments, or when a user more or less pinpoints within the set values of the custom keywords, introduce those keywords. Okay, now we have AWS comprehend. Okay, as you can see here, scamming language to identify using natural language processing to identify the the emotions, okay, around this voice, whether to identify that is the person a scammer or is not a scammer. So it uses sentimental analysis that makes sure that identify whether the voice is urgent or the emotions, basically the emotions attached to it. So send the money very fast. If you don't send it, your account will be blocked. All those speech recognition will be done or will be picked by the AWS comprehend, and making sure that it analyzes it to see if they are fraudulent or are not fraudulent. But that is not where the logic happens. So when you come to the custom model using the SageMaker, now all this analysis would be what? Would now be modeled or be pre-processed by the SageMaker, okay, to determine if one is maybe a fraudulent transaction, or it's somewhat is a neutral transaction, or it's maybe a false positive. Okay, so a user makes a call, we identify those keywords, we have preloaded keywords, okay, and comprehend that's what the sentimental analysis or the emotion behind the person making the call. This information are being passed through, or this voice turned into keywords into keywords are being passed into the custom model for the model to identify whether it's a scam or it's not a scam. When it identifies that it's a scam, it now does what? It now
Please,
goes through.
let's
Hello?
keep rounding because of time.
Okay. It now goes through the event flow to do what? Which more or less there's a low level diagram to that. To do what? To notify the user that this is maybe is a fraudulent transaction or not a fraudulent transaction. So you have to do what? You have to pay attention to in that direction. And in the mix of all this, most of some of the information that are not set by us will be done what will be identified or be saved within the unidentified data, which is the S3 for retraining. And also some of them will be stored. Okay. And for in order to keep checks of the environment, AWS Guard Duty would serve as a model behavior for this environment, making sure that any new maybe data poisoning into the environment or any new attacks would be identified and quickly be notified. Same as CloudWatch for our monitoring. And most importantly, AWS Prowler, even though it's an open source tool, okay, it also integrates well with AWS in making sure that statically it statically does what allow our or have a visibility of our environment. So in terms of compliance check, system hardening, and all those misconfiguration, it does all these checks and gives us the reports in making sure that we stay updated to our environment. And for the key, for the AWS config keys and also for the Mesa, it helps us to keep in checks of what our sensitive information. Okay, so PII, users information or data or messages are being checked in that direction. So this is what the system does in making sure that it identify whether somebody talking to you on the phone is a fraudulent person or is not a fraudulent person before you could send your money to the person or you could do business in transaction. So let me continue. So what are some of the mitigation framework we can build in this sense? So most importantly, we have to make sure that policy as a code validation with AI and aware analysis should be something that should be taken care of in a sense of using Bedrock agent, using Prowler again, AWS Prowler, using AWS Code Guru, and using AWS Amazon Q to or so many AWS services, but these are the most important ones to make sure that at every point in time we treat our code as policies, or there's a policy based structure concerning every code the developer pulls or pushes to the environment. And in the mix of all this, all those things I've mentioned, example, especially the Bedrock agent and also the AWS Guru has AI embedded into it in making sure that we identify or it does a system checks of the vulnerability, maybe or by mistake the user or the developer would introduce into the system. And also, most importantly, too, on ongoing, there's a need for us to do what? There's a need for us to do what? Do model behavior monitoring. So at every point in time, we need to do what? We need to monitor the environment to see if there's a change in the environment. And with the help of guard duty, which does with the help of guard duty and the machine learning features within it, we can able to do what? Identify these threats or new threats being introduced into our system, okay, and addressing the issue as it when it comes. Okay, so then we have maybe our external monitoring environment or CloudWatch to do what? To have a visualization of these findings that guard duty would do within the system. And for my takeaways or my key takeaways, I would place emphasis that future or the mobile money future in terms of transaction starts from intelligent hearing or listening. And these or the system that I've built would make sure that it caters for all these challenges in that space. And most importantly, it's not only about fraud being a prevention or as a tool to making sure that we are building a system to prevent fraud. It's also a business enabler because at the end of the day, it's a business that we are doing what? We or a company that we are doing what? We are destroying. And this will lead not getting the full maybe benefit of using technology in making our payment service or making our transaction. And that is what I would say today. So looking at all this, we need to make sure that we don't only build system that will just do checks, but build system that will do behavioral checks in addressing mobile money fraudulent transaction, making sure that we identify or we prevent the social engineering in this space. Thank you very much. And once
Thank
again, I'm
you
Daniel
so
Clement.
much, Daniel. That was a great one. I think there is a lot of information that was passed through that session. Thank you so much again for that session. That was an awesome session. I want to see your comment. Do you enjoy this session? I mean, just bring up something. I want to see your comment. I want to see your comment. So I believe there are a lot of people that have questions for you. If you have questions
Sure.
for Daniel, let me see your question. However, while I wait for the audience questions, I have some questions for you here. But let me see if there are questions from the audience before I go to my own questions. I mean, if I have questions from the audience, my question can wait. Okay, thank you for those comments. It's a very fantastic session. Thank you, Habib. Okay, while I wait for the questions from the audience, okay, so I have one question for you, or two
Okay.
maybe. So let me start with the first one that says, okay, what emerging threats or trends in social media attacks should mobile money service providers, I mean the telcos, be aware of? I mean, what are the I would prefer to use the word what are the, because there might be one or
Okay.
two or three of them that you feel that these ones everyone should be very, very careful and take note of them. Please, can we have some of them?
Okay. So I would on the top of the list, I would say deep faking. Okay.
Okay.
And this is one of the emerging threats that would go a long way to even now making sure that we don't identify who is saying the truth or who is who is lying. And that will be very difficult for even though there will still be remediations after it, but that would be very difficult for machines to be able to do what? To identify these attacks before they get solved. So deep faking will be something very, very, very challenging to solve in this space, because obviously we are moving out of the normal send me text message and maybe you will see you identify you identify let's say spelling mistakes and we think, oh, okay, this person is a hacker. Now there's a system that somebody would send the information well written, maybe by ChatGPT or Claude AI or something like that, and you would think, oh, it's coming from a correct source, but it's fake. It's something which is it's bad. Okay, but and we have moved away from that is what I see. We've moved away from all those things, all those text message stuff, and now we are doing voice attack. Okay, so deep faking will be one of the most important things that we need to look forward as we progress.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Daniel, for that. It's a lot. It's a very impactful session. I have more questions, but I feel maybe I should hold on. Oh,
Yeah.
my co-host. Yeah, Mimi, you want to say something?
Yes, honestly, very much like Dami said, amazing, amazing presentation by Daniel.
Thank you very
We
much.
definitely very much loved, having to listen to you and the audience. I'm
Yeah,
very,
sure.
very sure have learned a lot of things as well. So, I think all in all, very much like Dami said, we're just looking forward to everything, every aspect of it as well, and we're looking to learn even more. At least you've set the foundation for a lot of the things that we have learned from you
Sure.
today. So yes, so we could go on and then learn even further. So thank you so much. And just like Dami said, if there's any more questions, I'm sure that the audience would be able to let us know. But we definitely loved the session. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And to the audience, you can always ask your question in the comment section. If there's any
Sure,
question
sure,
we cannot
sure,
take now, we'll definitely reply to them. I mean, through our community, and it could be through some of
sure.
our channel. Thank you so much. Like I told you, we still have so much more for you. So don't go. We are bringing in other speakers now. Mimi, how was the session? Let's have a little chat before we bring up the next speaker.
Yes, I'm just like, I initially told Daniel, I think it was a very, very, impactful session, especially when he was making mention of, some of the things that we need to watch out for when he spoke about information poisoning, just basically some of the best ways we can, ensure that we're putting our system safe and just ensuring that we're all good together. So it was really impactful for me, and I've really enjoyed it as well. And I'm sure the audience has enjoyed it as well. How about you, Dami? What was the highlight for you?
I mean, there's so much. If I want to start now, we might not leave here.
I
So
agree.
let me not start mine. But really, it was such an impactful session. So we are going to be going to the next speaker now. Like I told you earlier, there's so much to learn today. So if you are on this link, share the link and then don't go, because we still have so much for you. So we are going to the next speaker now, and our next speaker is going to be speaking on an important topic as well. Yeah, important topic. So if you are here, please, you should be ready for what is coming. So our next speaker is going to be speaking on the AI SRE, unlocking Amazon EKS cluster insight with KSGTP and Amazon Bedrock. Like I told you, if you are an EKS person, you guys with the EKS cluster and all of that, this is a session you don't want to miss. So, and the
Very
person
true.
taking this session is nobody but um, Adeola Daramola. So Adeola Daramola is the one taking this session. Adeola Daramola, before I say so much about him, I want to be sure that he is here. Adeola Daramola, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening. Can we see your face?
Oh, am I not sharing? I'm sharing my.
We would
Can
like
you
to
see
see
me?
your face.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, hello, I can hear you, but I cannot see your face. I believe my audience would love to see your face too. So please, let's see your face. Okay, now I can see your face. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Damilari. I can hear you.
All right, all right. I believe you can hear me now. So I believe you are ready for us and you are ready to tell us a whole lot about this topic.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to dive
Okay,
in. Uh,
I would have loved to say so much about you, but I just feel like why can't I just let you blow your trumpet a bit? So tell us about you and let the audience hear about you. Why you go into your topic for today. You have the floor, please.
oh, okay. Thank you very much, Damilari. Yeah, so, as it stated there on the screen, my name is Adiola Daramola. I'm a DevOps engineer, and I do everything around deploying applications and managing large scale enterprise level application, infrastructure level configurations, and management. When I'm not doing that, I'm engaging in speaking engagements. Then I volunteer at communities to bring up community meetups and the like. So I also engage in writing articles, right? So you'll see me almost everywhere, like around anything that has to do with DevOps, right? And of course, off work, right? Off career work, I engage in a lot of activities of work, like that just keep me sane, keep me moving in terms of like associating with the community. So yeah, that's pretty much what you find about me. Yeah. So thank you. So can I get the next screen? Oh, okay. I was going to say we should. I was expecting to see the topic, right? Okay, so like I can say a few things about the topic, right? So yeah. So why do we? Like we the topic says the AI SRE, right? So I just want you to understand that why do we need an AI SRE, right? These are the things that we're going to be covering in this particular session. But before we dive into that, I would like to ask the audience does anyone have any familiar? Are we familiar with EKS clusters? I know one of the speakers, if I mentioned something about Amazon Bedrock. They went on to do a demo on workshop on that end. So I believe we are familiar with a bit of what Amazon Bedrock gives to us. But then about EKS cluster, has anyone here managed EKS cluster? Just drop it in the comment section. Let us see what you have done on EKS cluster. If you manage EKS cluster, production level, maybe just tutorials or just walk along with tutorials, right? Okay, so let's go. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so yeah, this is what we're going to be going through for why we need. Well, like the SRE that we are trying to build, the AI SRE we're trying to build here. So why do we need an AI SRE? So I like to think of it this way, right? Managing an EKS cluster or any Kubernetes cluster, for example, it's chaotic, right? You have to run series of commands. You're getting maybe Kubernetes get events, Kubernetes get pod, describe the pod to see what the issue is. Like there's so many things you need to do to get to the root of issues that you have with your cluster. So these are the challenges that we face day to day in each of our environments, managing cluster. Another thing about managing a cluster is you have to be an expert to some level, right? You need to read a lot about networking in the Kubernetes. You need to read a lot about networking, storage, pods, deployment. Read a lot of Kubernetes documentation just to have a basic idea of what is actually going on. So that's how I see it for me. Like managing Kubernetes is a lot, and building an AI SRE is a way to resolve all these challenges that we face with Kubernetes cluster management, right? So another ideology, right, to help us. So I want us to picture this, right, to have a picture of how Kubernetes work, right, and how this AI SRE is able to resolve issues and able to give us more insight into our cluster. Say, for example, you have your car, right, and your car already give you a bit of visibility from your car dashboard, right? So let's say, for example, you can see that your fuel is low. You can see that your fuel is low. You can see your gauge. You can see where your engine have issues. But then there are still few things that your car doesn't show you. For example, when your tire get depressed, you won't see that update in your car. At least maybe the modern cars these days, but currently, like, cars that we have are available to us in Nigeria, like, you might not see this sort of information. Maybe there's something wrong with one particular wheel of your car. So these are the blind spots that we have within a car, right? So picture that with a cluster. So there are always issues that are going on within a cluster that we don't have visibility into, that we are unable to see clearly, that we're unable to have that visibility into, right? So that is sort of like what the AI SRE is going to like expose to us, right? Give us that visibility for us to be able to see our entire cluster and look in deep into this black box that we manage for our orchestration and deployment, right? So there's a bit of assumption here in this workshop that you're familiar with Kubernetes, so I don't have to go into the details of explaining how container orchestration and Kubernetes work. All right, so I've explained a bit of the first point here, which is why we need an AI SRE, but the tools we need to build an AI SRE. So there are no limitations to the tools that we need to build an SRE, but what we currently no, you can still stay on the first on your previous slide. Okay, yeah, thank you. So the tools we need to build an SRE agent, right? So the main thing is a Kubernetes GPT, right? So you can call it Kubernetes GPT, but you can also call it Kube8 as GPT, right? So this is an open source agent, right, that helps us to analyze our cluster, right? So we need that particular tool to build an AI SRE. We need our AI backend, right? So our Kubernetes GPT cluster works with an AI backend to help us analyze and give us visibility into what exactly is wrong in our cluster, give us possible solutions to how we can fix this issue in our cluster. So you see how great it is. You're not just knowing the issues that in your cluster, you are getting suggestion on exactly how to fix these issues, right? So we are also going to dive into the operation mode of an AI SRE. Then we're going to see this in action. Please, let's go to the next slide. All right, so why we need an AI SRE? So I've dived a bit into this, exactly explaining that the challenges of managing clusters every day, problems around unknown issues, then support of compliance support and checks. Yeah, we can also use Kubernetes GPT for compliance support and check. Then also there's a feature now that Kubernetes GPT has, which is auto remediation. So imagine you have a configuration issue within your cluster, and Kubernetes GPT is able to look through those issues and not only suggest, but be able to like fix those issues for you. So that's basically what these issues. These are the things that the AI SRE can do for us. Please go to the next slide. All right, so tools to build an AI SRE. So I've mentioned this, so you can go to the next slide. No, so the slide before this. All right, so let me explain GPT in 5 minutes. All right, so GPT is an open source AI tool that is used to analyze a cluster. The main function, one of the main components of KSGPT is an analyzer, right? It has an inbuilt custom analyzers that is used to analyze pods, different form of Kubernetes objects that we have. It could be pod, it could be ingress, it could be deployment, it could be stateful set, it could be your service file, it could be It could be any of resources that is provision, config map, any resource that you can provision within a cluster can be managed, can be monitored, right, and by Kubernetes GPT. All right, so one of the key two things, right, that it does is, of course, it scans the cluster, right? It's able to scan the entire cluster, and why it scans the entire cluster is able to use information or issues identified within the cluster, feed that to an AI backend, and the AI backend is able to suggest issues, right? It is able to suggest solutions, right, based off of the issues that have been identified within the cluster. So there are two main components that we use, right, in building this AI SRE, right? The first one is a Kubernetes GPT, all right, which also uses called the Kubernetes analyzer and also an AI backend. So you, for the purpose of this demo, right? So let me just dive a little bit into the AI backend, right? So our AI backend for this solution is AWS, Amazon Bedrock, right? So, and I know that, like I said previously, we have speakers today that have already spoken about what AI back what about Amazon uh, AWS Bedrock. Sorry. So what I want to go into is that look at it as a single API endpoint, right? That gives you access to like multiple models, right? Multiple LLMs, right? You are getting cloud directly from AWS Bedrock. You're getting cloud. You're getting GPT. You're getting DeepSeek. You're getting different from, you're not just getting, you're getting different model type, right? So that's why Bedrock is a very suitable solution for building it, because you can always switch models to whichever one works best. All right, please, let's move to the next slide. All right, yeah, so in this section we're going to be looking at the two modes of the two modes of Kubernetes GPT, right? So we have the CLI mode where you get to run commands and interact directly with your cluster. The other operation mode is of the Kubernetes operator, right? In the Kubernetes operator, you deploy the entire solution directly in the cluster and is able to track and monitor issues within a cluster for you based off of the configurations that you have defined in your custom resource. All right, let's go to the next. All right, so I think I've done a bit of justice to this. So which is Amazon Bedrock is a smart translator guy. So it's a guy that, so why Kubernetes GPT analyzes cluster to figure out issues that are in a cluster. The Bedrock is our guide to help us understand the issue, understand the issue, give us possible solutions, right, to those issues that are identified, right? So another interesting thing about the Bedrock is that you sort of like give for example, if you're operating in like in a Kubernetes operator mode where you have deployed the service, right, you can give your pod access to be able to invoke Amazon Bedrock directly from your Kubernetes cluster, and protecting these by with your IAM user, right? So like the previous speaker mentioned a lot about fraud and malicious attack. So by using things like IAM, IAM, AWS IAM, you're able to streamline the Kubernetes GPT access and to your in order to limit what it can access in your AWS environments. All right, so please go to the next slide. Okay, so it's time to show us a bit of what we can do with the Kubernetes GPT, right? So there are a few things I need to just clear. So there are things, let me speak on things I've already done before this demo to make us have a faster and smoother demo, right? So I have already provisioned an EKS cluster, right? Running within within my environment that I have access to, right? That is number one. Number two is that I have already enabled a model, right? An AWS Bedrock model, right? I don't know. So the class, I think that was Ifine. Yeah, Ifine showed us how to activate yeah, what do you call it now? a model within our AWS console, right? So you need to activate the model for you to be able to access your model. So I have done a bit of that. So we don't need to do that within the demo. So but the first thing I've also done is that I've also installed the CLI, right? So let me share my screen. So I hope we are all following along and I'm audible. Yeah. So to share my screen. All right. So give me a minute. All right. I think I'm. Hold on. Okay. Hello. Can anyone hear me? Please confirm if you can still hear me. Thank you. So let's dive right into Kubernetes. So, like I said before, I've already installed the CLI. So this is the CLI running within my sandbox environment, right? So there are a few things we need to go through, right? These sub commands that we have within for Kubernetes GPT. So we have the analyzer, we have the authenticator, we have the cache, completion, custom analyzers, filters. So each of these have the feature. So the analyzer is the guy that analyzes with cluster. The authentication, if you're trying to add a different, if you're trying to add an AI backend, right, to your Kubernetes GPT, right, what you need is you need the Kubernetes GPT authentication, right? So something I think escaped my mind right now was that. So another thing is that we can use a lot of AI backend, right? This is not restricted to just AWS, but for the purpose of this workshop, we're just using Amazon Bedrock, right? You can use OpenAI, you can use Gemini, you can use Cloud directly, you can use a lot of you can use Llama, you can use local AI, right? So you can use any of these, right? But for the purpose of this workshop, we are just going to stick to using Amazon Bedrock. All right. So while I've gone through the list of these commands, so let me just. So I want to show us the list of AI that we can use. So this is Kubernetes get list. So yeah. So by default, right, you will see OpenAI, right? But like there are other AI backends that we can use. We have the OpenAI, local AI, Llama, Azure, different Amazon Bedrock, SageMaker is also here, Google. So there are different ones that we can select. But for the purpose of this, I said again, we're going to be using Bedrock. So let's get the command to add Bedrock to this. So now what we're going to do is, all right. So before I run this, let me explain. So what this does is, so now we are authenticating, we are adding our backend service, which is Amazon Bedrock. We're adding the model, so we are using Nova. We're using Amazon Nova Lite, which is an LLM, which is a native AWS model, right? So that's what we're using. And we're setting the region, right? So I'm working within the US East 1 region, right? So let's go ahead and run. So I've added that. Now, so let's go back and list. You can see that the activated backend is now Amazon Bedrock. All right, so let's go on to the next. So we want to analyze our cluster, right? So let's do this. All right, so this is us analyzing our cluster, right? When you're analyzing your cluster, you need to pass the AI backend, right? But for the sake of this, let's remove the backend first and just analyze. So I want us to get a feel of what exactly happened without this. So let's analyze so I've run the command. We're just analyzing our default namespace in this case. All right. So you can see the output, right? AI provider is not used, explain not set. That is intentional, right? I did that so that we can see that Kubernetes GPT can analyze your cluster without an AI backend, right? But you need an AI backend to be able to have an understanding, for it to be able to suggest possible solutions for you. All right, so you can see, let's go through the list of issues that have been identified within a cluster. You can see that they say you can see clearly here that there's a config map issue. It's not able to use, but it's not being used by any pod that has been identified. There's a pod that is broken here. It's a backlog pulling image. Image failed to pull something about an image tag. Then we also have a memory limit pod issue, right? See, you can see it explaining now. But the beauty about this is that these are only just explained issues we have within this namespace, right? You can see that the issue cut across services, pods, image, config map. So that is any form of resources that is being run within this namespace that have limited this to scan will definitely be identified. All right, now, so let's use our AI backend, right, to be able to get possible solutions to these issues, right? So let me run that. Please, if you have a question, please drop them in the comment. All right, so our result is out, right? You can see we have red, we have green, later we have green text, right? So you can see previously AI provider was not used, right? You can see in this case now, it states clearly that Amazon Bedrock is in use, right? You can see the call to that service, right? Now you can see the identifier issues remain the same, but then there is now possible solution, right? It's telling us, okay, verify image name and tag, pull image manually, update image with the correct tag. Now Kubernetes GPT has not only identified the issue, it has also given us possible solutions for us to solve that particular issue. Now let's go to the next solution. To the pod was terminated due to whatever, so it's telling us solution to increase memory limit, optimize pod memory usage, monitor resource usage, adjust resource limit, request and limit. So you can see it's not only just so this helps us simplify issues that we have to manage within the cluster. You don't have to get pods, describe, get events, or with just a single line of command, you're able to analyze the namespace and an entire cluster and have visibility into what is going on within your cluster. So this goes to for the broken pod. So you can see our service issue is saying service lag and endpoint. For example, you deploy an application and it's not working. Say for example, you attach a service file. Maybe for example, due to labeling issue, right, your service file is unable to map to the deployment. By running this command, you are able to identify the issue directly without having to go through any or maybe describing the pod or debugging in ways that might take your time, so to say. So this is us working with Kubernetes GPT within the CLI, right? There is more to how Kubernetes GPT work, and that's when I mentioned about running it as an operator, right? So let's go into that. Are there any questions? All right. Okay. So if there are no questions, let's go into deploying Kubernetes GPT as an operator, where it constantly scans the cluster and give us more insight into what the issue is. So I'm going to start with few things we need to know, right? You need to install Kubernetes. You need to have M installed, right? So I have M installed on this my sandbox environment. You need to have M installed. That's very important because we're going to be using M to set up this operator. So I have a few commands here just to help us get that. So this is the link to this is a command to install Kubernetes operator directly from the this is directly from the how do I put it now, from the documentation page of Kubernetes GPT. We share that in the comments. So all right, so let's wait for that to install. Why that install? So let me just explain what the command does. So the command install Kubernetes operator in the namespace of Kubernetes operator system, right? With the name release. I think so. That's just about it. So if you have any question, maybe we can take questions around this time. If there are no questions, well, then we can just hold on a bit for this to run. All right. So we can see this as deployed, right? Yeah. So our Kubernetes GPT is running as an operator within this Kubernetes cluster. All right. So the next thing is so let me talk about a bit about why we are installing Prometheus, right? So we want to be able to visualize what what Kubernetes GPT is scanning, right? That's the AI SRE in full blown, like a full working state, right? Whereby you are not just scanning the tools, you are able to visualize them within a dashboard. So why we need that is, so we need to install Prometheus and also Grafana to help us be able to visualize the issues, right? That Kubernetes GPT has been able to identify within a cluster. So now let's move to installing Prometheus, right? So we're installing Prometheus within the names with same namespace. Right, this might take a bit of time. So let me just quick while that is going on, let me use the opportunity to explain some things. All right, so I want to explain a few things, right? Why Prometheus is deploying. So there are two important things that we need the operator to do, right? We need to be able to invoke Amazon Bedrock. And how does it evoke Amazon Bedrock? We have to configure an IAM. Okay, so we have to configure an IAM role. We have to configure an
Okay.
IAM
Uh,
policy.
Adiola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, while we move forward, I think you have a few questions here. Maybe you want to, check on
All right.
them before we move past this place. Someone says, please,
Okay.
what's the strength or disadvantage or advantage of KGPT agent compared with AWS Amazon Developer Queue agent? So this person wants to know the difference between the Kubernetes and the Queue agent.
Okay. So I have not really worked with Amazon developer queue agents, right? But the advantage that GPT agent has is that aside the fact that they are custom, aside the fact that they are inbuilt analyzers, right, where that you can use, right, you can also build your own analyzer, right? Say for example, the organization have certain standard, right, that you want your cluster to follow, that you want your cluster to to comply with, right? So you can build custom analyzers for, and a good example is like in this section we're going to be working, we're going to be like I'm going to be showing us how I build a Golang how I build a how I use I mean how I build a pod disruptor a pod budget this sorry PBD, right? I think I keep missing it up there. So to help me check all the services that are within my Kubernetes cluster and ensure that they have, or reveal to me that they have a PBD. So because the thing is that you want to ensure that your services in production are very highly available, right? And setting PDP and ensuring that all deployments or stateful sets within your Kubernetes cluster have that is very important. So that is the advantage that it has. You can build your own custom analyzers.
Okay, thank you. That's good. All right, let's continue. However, we have a little time more for this session so that we can move to the next session.
All right. Let me. Okay. I think I need. Is my screen still up? Okay. Yeah, this is taking longer than I expected. It's probably so. Let me just go on with explaining. I was explaining I am right, so that you need access. I mean, you need to be Kubernetes pod needs to be able to invoke uh, the IAM role to be able to access Amazon Bedrock, right? So what's important here is that what the major key we need is pod identity, right? Pod identity associate. What is pod identity associate? So pod identity associate give our pod, right, our services, maybe service accounts, the ability to invoke or to make calls within our AWS environment, right? And the good thing about it is that with IAM and IAM policy, we can restrict it to exactly what we need it to be able to access. So right, so that is because so that is very important when using Kubernetes GPT with AWS, Amazon Bedrock, and running it in a Kubernetes operator mode. Yeah, Kubernetes GPT operator mode. So let me check this deployment. It's taking too long. It's gonna come up. It's just taking too long. I hope I'm fast with the remaining commands, right? So I think we're almost done. We're almost done. Let's just give it 2 minutes. So then, okay, what? So what are the other? So another good thing about Kubernetes GPT is that it's not restricted to English language, right? You can there are other languages that are with that you can use. If you speak Chinese, if you speak any of the supported languages like French are available, right? So you can okay. So this is done. So you're not just restricted to English language. You can get your results in different languages that are supported for now within the Kubernetes GPT. All right, so Prometheus is done. Let's get all pods. So pods are running, they're coming up, right? Okay, so let me go straight to. So now I need to set the service account. So just a quick one, right? I have I'm annotating my Kubernetes operator, right, to be able to use this role to invoke AWS Bedrock, right? So I'm going to upgrade that deployment. Let me get that. So I'm also enabling Grafana dashboard and service monitoring. So let me run that. This shouldn't take long. So this IAM role has been pre-configured right before this session, right? So I will share the configuration details, right, that was used to create that policy. All right. It shouldn't take long. So while that is going on, let me create an AWS create a pod identity, right? So the pod identity is what helps us assume the roles, right? So let me just do the okay. So the deployment is done. That's good, right? So then the next thing is to make sure that well, so I need to expose the Kubernetes GPT to Prometheus, right? To be able to know that there is a particular service you need to track. So this is what this command does, right? So it's add this annotation for Prometheus to be able to monitor this service as well as it exposes its endpoint. All right, so there's an error here. Let me go again. No, this is okay. Error code record. Post account. Okay, let me see. Which account am I on? All right, so let me confirm my IAM role is correct. Um, so, Yeah, so demo can be very funny. Let's do this. Okay. Now there's an issue here that I need to create cross account. Um, all right, so let's do this. Um, so um, all right, give me a minute. All right, okay, so that's good. So we've created the pod identity, right? So the next thing is to let's review the so now so let's go to one of my configuration. Um, yeah, so now we want to deploy the custom resource, right? Now you're not copying. Okay, sgpt.yam. All right. So let me just quickly go through this. So this is our custom configuration. We have a CRD running, right? So we need to apply this custom resource, right? So what this does is actually is a service, right, that we deploy. So now so this is specification, the AI. So we're activating AI. So this is like a YAML file configuration of the commands that we ran the other time, right? So we are giving it a more detailed configuration. We are applying it so that the operator can use this to scan the cluster. So we are defining Amazon Nova Night. Yeah, we are specifying the region. Our backend is Amazon Bedrock. We're using English language. There are other configurations that we can add, like we can streamline it to just manage just scanning for pods, deployments. We can also configure intervals, right? You can say scan an hour, scan every 5 minutes, every 1 hour, every 3 hours, depending on the time that works for you, right? So apply this. Just cube apply. Right. Dash. All right. So okay. So it's created. Let me get all the pods. Let's see what the operator is able to do for us in this case. All right. So this is the operator running here. Let's review the logs. All right. So the service is running fine. Then so let me get. So we do. If you want to get results directly from your CLI, you do keep get results. Dash A. Let me see if I'll get all the results. Oh, no results found. Let me see if it's invoking. It needs to make that invoking. All right, let me check this to my. All right, yeah, yeah. So this is the output, right? So you can see the configuration, all the issues it has found, every resource that is identified with issues are listed here. You can see the port, the kind of deployment, the kind of object that they have, config map, port service, whatever. So the backend service that is being used, Amazon Bedrock. So let's do a scan for our defaults. The same thing we found the other time with the CLI, right? No, is that default spelled correctly? Yeah, I think it is spelled correct. Oh, okay, let me see. Let me. My defaults. Oh, all right. When it's okay, so I think that's because the keyword cluster is running within this namespace. It can I didn't specify it to scan outside of that namespace, right? So that's really what we're having. So now let's visualize this whatever the Kubernetes GPT has scanned, right? So I'm going to be exposing Grafana UI, right? So right, so we are almost done. Right. So yeah, just give it time to come up. We're almost done. Right. So we uh,
Okay, we can't hear you, but we can see your screen. Can you hear me?
okay, okay, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Okay, I guess you are done, right?
No, no. Okay, yeah, we're almost done. All right. So please confirm you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your screen. We can see your
All
screen. We
right,
can
so
see
we
the.
can see Kubernetes GPT, everything he has analyzed. You can review. You can see the number of issues he has seen, identified. So we can review this. But another thing we need to take note is that this is still a sandbox project, right? It was. I mean, the project started about 2 years ago, and it became a sandbox project last year. So which is pretty new, and it's even though it's not advisable in production, but it's something we can just get our hands with because I believe there's a lot of potential with this particular tool, right? So then so because of our time, right, I'll just explain the custom service that I built, right? So what I did essentially was let me go back. Let me go
Okay,
back
can
to
you do
the
that in 20 seconds so that we can move to this
yeah,
question and answer session, please?
definitely. So please, can you just go to the next slide? Let me just-
Okay.
yeah, so I stopped at the for Germany. So,
Okay.
hello. Okay.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm like,
All right, can you see the slide?
no. All right,
Okay.
so let me just if you can't see this, if you can't bring it up, let me just keep talking about it. So,
All right,
what it
please
basically,
just talk about it in 20 seconds so that we can move to the next questions that we have for you.
all right, thank you very much, Damilare. All right, so now, so what I want to talk about is PDB, right? So, what PDB typically does is it helps with retention of services, right? Deployment within your cluster. Say, for example, you are doing a upgrade, right? So, and you want to ensure that some services are available, right? You don't have disruption within during that migration or upgrade, right? So in a standard workplace like an enterprise, you want to ensure that some services are running, right? Even while you're doing that migration. So how do you identify these issues? Right? How do you identify that your deployments don't have PDB that will allow them be available when things like this happen? So with a custom analyzer, you are able to see services, right, that are running within your cluster that do not have a PDB, right? So these are one of the cool things, right, about Kubernetes GPT, right? It gives you that opportunity to be able to create and customize analysis or customize what you really want to analyze within your cluster and give you visibility into that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. I mean, that was a long session with a lot of impact. I believe a lot of
Very
audience are following you with the practical, and then many of them are actually doing it on their laptops, and then I believe they got as much same result as you got. So thank you so much, Adela. That was a very good session. Mimi, you are here. I believe you have a number of questions for Adela. So before we move to the next speaker, if Adela is still here, then you can ask your questions. While I wait for Adela to be here, I don't know if he's still here or he has left. Okay, let me tell you, because if you are here and you've been enjoying this session, like I told you earlier on, we still have one more. So this session we have three speakers, and we are going to be moving to our next speaker immediately after this session. So please stay here and stay with us. So Mimi, what do you have to say? I mean, in just 30 seconds, can you say something about Adiola's session?
Yes, that was a very, very amazing session by Adiola. So impactful, honestly, very hands-on, which is definitely what we love to see. We love to, see our audience engaging. And just like you mentioned, I'm very sure that a lot of them have been following. On my end, I was also following as well, trying to see how I can also run it from my end. So the fact that I'm able to follow and follow well is definitely proof that a lot of us are also following and following well. So that's something I'm really, really happy to see. So just also briefly, if you are just joining us here, welcome to this session. This is the AWS Community Day 2025, and you're in virtual room one. And our theme for this year is AI driven enterprise operations. And we have had an amazing lineup of speakers. We have had some really, really, really fun sessions. And for those of you who are still here, you definitely attest to the fact that it has been amazing all through. So I'm just really, really happy to see that we're all learning. I can see all your comments. I'm seeing the comments from Nachi. Nachi says, "Thank you, Adeola. That was a great session and I learned a lot." I support 100% Nachi. It was an amazing session. Raman says, "Great session, Adeola. Amazing, amazing." Uche Chuku says, "Thank you very much. Great session." So please send in all your comments. We're seeing them, we're appreciating them, and we love to know that you're following, you're gaining value, and that makes us so, so, so happy. So let's be sure if you have any more questions, please drop them in the comment section as well. And I think Adela might be coming back up if there are more questions. If there are no questions, we will definitely move on to the other speaker. Okay, I think I'm seeing Adiola joining in. At the beginning, the network really wanted to mess up, but when something is powerful, it's powerful. Network has nothing on us. Isn't that so, Dami?
Exactly what it is. So Adiola is here. I believe you have a lot of questions for him, but please let's just ask one so that we can move to the next speaker immediately. So
Okay, perfect.
if you have questions for Adiola. Adiola, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, Mimi has a wonderful question for you, so I believe you are here to answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Adiola once more, amazing, amazing presentation. Very
Thank you.
hands-on, very understandable. So we really do appreciate you. So I'm sure
Thank
that
you.
I personally would love to know, Dami as well, and the entire audience. We would love to know what, in your opinion, are some of the best practices for using K8s GPTs. So maybe you could tell us like one or two, because we don't have a lot of time, but at least maybe one or two things that can be very helpful and basically guide us moving forward when it comes to working with this amazing technology. So over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mini, for the question. Right. So the key thing is that we are giving our Kubernetes cluster and environment to an AI, right, to be able to analyze the cluster. So it's very important to define the role that the service, right, the technology Kubernetes GPT can assume, right, within the cluster. So that's one of the best practice while using this technology, right. You want to ensure that it only has the minimum access to what it can do, right. For example, if you needed to just invoke Cloudy, right, then give it access to just Cloudy. If you needed to invoke any of the AI models, right. So it's treating it by by an IAM configuration is the best way to go.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thank you so, so much, Adiola. There are actually other questions, but for the want of time, we have other speakers and we wouldn't want to, waste a lot more time. So we really appreciate you for coming up.
Thank you
If
very
you have
much.
other questions, even in the comments, please, please still drop those questions. We're really open to all your questions, all your suggestions. Every comment is important, every comment is meaningful. So please go ahead and drop them. So at this point in time, I'll be handing over back to our amazing moderator, my co Mr. Dami, to continue and give us even the next amazing speaker up.
All right. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you for everyone who has stayed with us this far. And then, I mean, this is like we are moving towards the almost end of the program. This is going to be the last speaker for today, and then we meet tomorrow. At the D Day. So if you are around Lagos, please be available for tomorrow's session. So this next session we're going into is called AI meets DevOps. And personally, I am very much interested in this. Anytime I hear things about DevOps, I'm always interested. Maybe because that is my own area of special concentration, so to say. So this is AI meets DevOps, building self-healing pipelines with predictive anomalies detection. So, and the person who is going to be helping us to do justice to that is already here, and his name is Goodluck Adiole. So, Goodluck Adiole, can you hear me at all? If you can hear us, please let's hear from you. Good luck. Are you here? We want to be sure that you are here. Please, can you
Hi,
hear
good evening.
us?
Uh, can you hear me?
Hi, good luck. Can you hear me? Hi,
Good luck,
good
can you
luck. Can
hear
you
us?
hear me? Can you hear us at all? Good luck. I want to be sure that you can hear us. If you can hear us, then our audience too should be able to hear you. So good luck. We are waiting for you. Everyone is waiting for you. Your audience are waiting for you. Good luck. Hi, can you hear me?
I I can
Hi,
hear
good
you.
luck. Yes, I can hear you well. Can you hear me? Good luck.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
All right, that's great. Can we see your face? I mean, your audience would love to see your face as much as I and Mimi would love to see your face too. So if you can put on the camera, that would be very great.
Yeah, honestly, where I am, you may not be able to see me very well because
Okay, okay, that's fine. If you
today
cannot see me,
we have.
that's fine. That's
Uh,
fine. I think we can have your picture here. So, good luck. You are welcome. I believe you have so much for us, and you have so much for this session. So, you're welcome to this session. Let me say you can have the floor from here. I would love to say so much about you, but I believe it's better if you can tell us so much about you. I mean, you definitely know much more about you than I do. So tell us about yourself and have the floor, please. Okay, hello, good luck. Okay, I think Good Luck might be having one or two issues with his network. Let's wait for him to join us. While I wait for Good Luck, let me read a few of the previous questions in the past uh, sessions. Someone was asking here, please, why are we installing Prometheus? Okay, these are questions that the previous speaker we attend to, and I want to assure you something. If there are questions you have and then you could not get those questions, please follow our AWS community group on our LinkedIn page, our Twitter page, and you can ask those questions there. Or even the ones you ask there, definitely we will give answers to them later on. But I'm saying if you have many more questions that you want to ask, you can always follow us on our LinkedIn page and ask those questions. I am confident that there are a lot of professionals who are ready to answer as many questions as you have. We are still waiting for our next speaker. Please stay on the line, stay here, and don't go because we are not done yet. We are not done yet. Okay, I can also see a question here by Mark Busy. I hope these sessions are recorded. I would love to go through them again. Yes, yes. All these sessions are recorded and you can always come back to them on this same channel, please. So you can always come back to this channel to watch and maybe some of those practicals, like someone asking why are we installing Prometheus and all of that. You can always come back here and watch those sessions and then watch them and follow those practical bit by bit for better understanding. Yes, the recordings are going to be on this YouTube channel. Okay, good luck. Are you here? I'm waiting for you. Oh, Mimi, welcome. We are waiting for you. But then, you have something you want to share with the audience while we wait for Good Luck to speak. The session we've been here for a couple of hours. What is that something that you feel like something spectacular that you want your audience to know about today's session? And most especially, some people don't know that we are having another physical session tomorrow. So, your audience want to hear something.
Yeah, I think it's it's really, really good that we're having this first introduction. I can't even express how happy I am. I keep on seeing their comments. I see the comments from Uchechukwu, from Toby, from Mr. Saiba, from Awode. So it's really good to know that our community is vibrant. It's good to see people, being active. Nachi has been texting on and on and on, and I love to see it. So more of that energy, everyone. We need more of that energy because ultimately our joy is if you're able to get impacts from these sessions, and that is what makes us most happy. So just like Dami was mentioning, there is a physical session tomorrow as well. So if you are in the city of Lagos, you should be no other place but in the physical session tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. So much, to come. And I am trying to hold myself not to give you spoilers, honestly, but it's going to blow your mind, truly. And I can't really wait to see, how it turns the lives of many people around as well. So all in all, I'm really, really like excited about the entire event, and I want you to be excited as well because it's going to be nothing short of amazing. So, also, if you're in the comments, while we wait for Good Luck to come up, also just drop a word that has resonated with you the most during this session. Maybe it could be Kubernetes, maybe it could be DevOps, maybe it could be whatever it is at all. Would love to see just one word. Let's make this fun. So just give us one word alone that you feel like would summarize, aside from summarizing your entire experience. Maybe you could give us one that summarizes your experience, and then maybe one more that summarizes the event for you. So would you say it was amazing? Would you say it's great? Would you say it's interesting? So how would you summarize it in just one word? One word, guys. So nothing more than one word. So let's see, your comments. And also, good luck. We're checking in with you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So
Good luck. If
You
you
can hear
can
me.
hear us, please have the floor, and then so that your session can start immediately. If you can hear us, please go ahead and take up the session.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I believe you can hear me, right? Because I want to make sure that everyone can hear me in this session because I'm having a network uh, trouble here. It's not a problem, like it's a trouble. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Good luck. Good luck. I can hear you. Can you hear me right now? You are muted in case you are
Okay,
speaking.
yes, 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 I can. Oh.
Oh, all right. All right. All
All
right.
right.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Actually, in this session, what we are looking at is how to better our DevOps processes in our organizations as DevOps engineers and also IT engineers. So far, it has been we see DevOps engineers or IT engineers being called upon at midnight, whereby you hear there's an issue, one or two issues, and you can be waking up anytime to actually troubleshoot. That's a very big issue in the industry, and it overweighs software engineers. So today we will look at how to build self-healing pipelines with predictive anomaly detection. We'll be using AWS tools, and AWS tools have made it easy to adopt AI because AWS has adopted AI even before other cloud computing solutions. So today we'll be discussing self-healing pipelines. Next slide. Okay, system being before now, you bring it to our organizations as we learn from this particular session. Sorry, back to that. Yeah. Why do our systems break? Why do systems break? Why do we have why is it that when systems break, we are not able to find out before the problem happens? You can see from the picture there, this already a falling system. And what do we do when such a thing happens? What is our mean time to dictate? What is our mean time to resolution? That is the time it takes for us to fix the problem. We find out that it is a very big time for us to even find out that there is a problem in the system. And before then, our users are already calling the organization. Our users are already calling the IT operations team that we can access your applications. We can reach the application that we have been reaching before now. So we find out that there is a better way to handle this. And what is the better way? To have a self-healing pipeline in such a way that if there is an issue within the pipeline, there will be a rollback. Someone may deploy a pipeline and the person will not be able to know that this particular there's an issue or the pipeline has failed. When the pipeline fails, how do you know and how do you troubleshoot? You find out that the time it takes engineers to troubleshoot the pipeline is taking a long time. That is why we need to embed AI into our pipelines to have an automatic rollback. And AWS tools like Lambda functions can handle this together with Amazon Bedrock. Next slide. So the developer burnout. Imagine where you deploy and you go home and you are sleeping. Around 3 a.m., they'll start calling you that something has gone wrong. That users can't reach their websites, users can't reach the applications. You find out that it's an issue. And at that point in time, you start picking up your laptop to start troubleshooting. And if you are troubleshooting at this particular time in the midnight, around early morning in the day, you may find it difficult to get yourself throughout that day. So this developer lose trust in their business in terms of the customer trust, because when you find out that the applications are not up to serve your users the way you should serve your users, you find out that is a business impact that impacts user trust and also business trust. So our current reactive model is unsustainable. So we need to move from reactive to proactive and predictive anomaly detection method that will be able to detect the issues in the pipeline and we're able to resolve it. Next slide. So what is the vision? There is the vision for the self-healing pipeline. There is moving from reactive to proactive and predictive model. First of all, what is a self-healing pipeline? It's a CI/CD pipeline that automatically detects and diagnoses and remediates failures. It remediates failures accurately without human intervention. In this particular demo, we'll be using the core principles of this particular session is to have an application monitoring tool that will be able to detect and analyze and also act on when there is a failure within the system. That is automatic rollback. We'll be able to simulate automatic rollback using Lambda functions that will be able to communicate the Amazon Bedrock, which is an intelligence system, which is an AWS AI tool, an intelligence system that will be able to study the loss, study the issues from the CloudWatch logs, because our application is such a way that it will every issue is being logged to the CloudWatch, so which the Lambda function will be able to pick. When the Lambda function picks the logs, we'll be able to analyze it and send it to Bedrock. Bedrock will be able to make a recommendation which the Lambda function will be able to act on. Next. Next slide, next slide. Be able to show this in code. Okay, for those of us that are new to DevOps, what is CI/CD? CI/CD is just continuous integration and continuous deployment, a method to frequently deliver applications to customers by introducing automation into the stages of the application. The integration and continuous deployment has different stages, where we have the source, we have the build stage. The source stage is where we source from either AWS code commit or GitHub or any other Git-based repository. That is version control system. That is the source. Then we have the build. The build is where we use either code pipeline to build, which is AWS native build tool, which is also integrated with integratable with code pipeline. And we use the code deploy to deploy our application to any environment, either the ECS or the virtual machine, which is the AWS EC2. Now, let's just think of this as an automated and standardized assembly line for your software, whereby everything is being automated in a queue. the first stage runs. After the first stage runs, the second stage will run, then the last stage, or depending how many stages you want, depending on your organization, preference. So we now have a predictive analysis machine learning. The machine learning here is from Amazon Bedrock. I use machine learning to learn your application's normal behavior. There is the CPU utilizations, the error rates, and all that to make sure that it flags as any significant deviation from the system. And that deviation is what we call anomaly, which will be detected by the CloudWatch Plus. So think of it as a medical baseline for your application's vital signs. Next. So Amazon Bedrock is a generative AI tool. It's a type of AI that can generate new content and ideas, and including conversation, stories, and analysis. In our context, it is an intelligence assistance. Yes, it's as an intelligence assistant to the Lambda function. It will be able to give Lambda function recommendations on what to do in order to have a rollback, or simulate a rollback in the pipeline or in the system, so that we will not be able to, we will not be having issues of pipeline failures, and we start troubleshooting to find out the issue. Amazon Bedrock will be able to make the recommendations for us, and you can even impute a manual check whereby we look at the Bedrock recommendations and know that to trigger for Lambda functions to actually act to roll back or not. Next. So the AWS tools we have here, which I've already explained, is AWS Code Pipeline, which is Amazon CI/CD tool. It's a fully managed continuous delivery service that automates your release pipelines. What it does here is orchestrate. It's an orchestrator of the pipeline of the deployment process. It makes sure that the stages of building, testing, and deployment of your code is being handled properly or orchestrated without any manual effort. So another one is the CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a monitoring tool in AWS. It can help you to monitor and observe what is happening in the system. So you can call it a monitor and observability service. So the role here is it acts as a nervous system. It collects logs and metrics and make sure that it collects logs and metrics which the Lambda function can actually pull and analyze. The CloudWatch anomaly detection, we have what we call CloudWatch anomaly detection, which is a predictive eye that uses machine learning to model metric behavior and trigger alarms on anomalies. We also will have what we call SNS topics or SNS, that is a simple notification service that we can embed in this particular service to make sure that whenever there is either a failure in the system or a success in the system, we will receive notification. This particular next. Driven compute system. It triggers by event. Whenever there is, what is the event here? Is either a failure or a success that can be triggered. That can help trigger the system. So when you run code in response to events, like an alarm, without provisioning servers, that is what actually the Lambda function could help you do. The next one is the Amazon Bedrock, which is a service that provides access to high-performing foundational models from AWS, from leading companies. So we have foundational models in AWS and other ones like Cloud AI and others we can use. So it's an intelligence system that analyzes logs and provides a reasonable or reasoned diagnosis, and also recommendations to Lambda function. To Lambda function to trigger, or either for rollback or to continue the system. Next. So this is actually the architecture that powers our intelligence system. Is a self-healing CI/CD pipeline. You can see that the code commit there, or the source, which is either the Git hub or the AWS code commit, where we trigger the pipeline either based on commit or PR, that is pull request. So when the pipeline is being triggered, every loss is being emitted to CloudWatch logs. Every matrix is being emitted to CloudWatch logs, so that it will be able to have it will be able to detect any anomaly in the system and trigger a lambda function. So, and the lambda function can actually analyze the logs, fetch the logs from CloudWatch logs, analyze it, and then feed it to Amazon Bedrock, which will now make a deep analysis of it, and then initiate either a rollback or continue the system based on whether it's a failure or whether there's an anomaly or not. So next. So our lambda function is written in Python. I will share my screen to show the lambda function, how it's being written. Although I know that I may not be explaining all parts of the code because of time, and again, most of us are not technically inclined or not developers. So that is actually go to the next slide. Let me see when I will move to share my screen. So actually, how the system functions, like we have been saying, is the Amazon Bedrock will send logs to the model, like cloud or any other more foundational model we are using to embed in the Amazon Bedrock. But for our own system, we are using cloud with a careful crafted prompt. The prompt can be something like analyze these application logs from a Kubernetes deployment or any deployment, an ECS deployment. That's what I'm using. The system has detected a spike in HTTP 500 errors. Summarize the likely root cause in one sentence and to recommend an action. It's just pure English language. So either roll back if the code dictates the first from the latest deployment, or an alert only if it appears to be an externally dependency or externally managed dependency issue. Respond with valid JSON only. So actually, it understands JSON, and also the lambda function actually understands JSON. So that is the input. This Amazon Bedrock will form an input to the lambda function, which will now trigger for a rollback when your system is failing. So next. So what are the tangible benefits of having a self-healing pipeline, a self-healing CI/CD pipeline? The first one is an increased developer velocity and innovation. You can see that this our system, when we make our system self-healing, it will be able to make sure that the developer velocity is increased. The developers will be able to iterate and also deploy faster than when you don't have a self-healing pipeline. Because when you don't have a self-healing pipeline, I have had issues whereby a developer will run a pipeline who have issues, and it will take him even hours and days to troubleshoot to find out what the issue is. And again, when an anomaly is being deployed to the production environment, it can actually scatter a lot of things, can actually disrupt services. See that instructions of services are being at least halted in this particular point in time, and the good known state is being what is being maintained in the system. I don't know if most of us are actually developers or DevOps engineers. You know the pain of making a wrong deployment to production. So actually, this is one of the things we try to avoid by having a self-healing pipeline, to make sure that a run deployment is not being sent to the release or to the production environment. Another one is to improve developer experience and on-call duty. A situation whereby every minute and then, because you're a developer, you are calling you here and there every night. Even when you're on the way, they will be calling you. How do you, after having a long day, so how do you feel about that in the organization? So if you're able to automate your processes and have a self-healing pipeline, you see that most of the wrong deployments to production will not happen. Next. So the next one is also significant cost reduction, because this minimizes revenue loss due to outages. When we have a wrong deployment to production and it causes outages, actually you will see that it will reduce your the revenue of the organization, because it can even make you lose customers. So another one is optimizes resources. It prevents runaway processes from generating huge cloud bills. Yes, it optimizes your resources to make sure that your cloud bills are not being piled up abnormally. Another one is it improves efficiency. It frees up expensive engineering time, whereby the time you take to troubleshoot, the time you take to roll back manually, the time you take final to is reducing your efficiency as a developer, as an organization. Another one is enhanced system reliability and customer trust. Used. Hello, next. Okay, actually, I will be sharing my screen to show us uh, this particular demo. I had issues getting all of it done, whereby we will do the deployment to production. I'm using an ECS service, deploy to ECS and all that, and then have a rollback through a lambda function, and also simulate, try to simulate anomaly into the system. There will be a time we will introduce anomaly into the system to see how there will be automatic rollback. But I had issues bringing up the entire system up because of I had some strikes from AWS regarding the fact my account was compromised, and it was a long talk with them before they were able to uh, remove all the restrictions on my account. But I will explain all the whole processes. I will show us how it functions, how I'll be able to automate the processes, how I'll be able to automate the deployment process, even the infrastructure deployment process using Terraform. Yes, I had to use Terraform to make sure that yes, the infrastructure deployment process is not a Herculean task. So I can share my screen to show us. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. We can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible. We can hear you. Can you go on with the demo session?
Okay. Hello, you can see my screen, right? Hello, can you see my screen? Can see my screen is up.
Yes, we can see your screen, please. We can see your screen.
Okay, from the infrastructure deployment part of it, I was able to use Terraform. I was able to use Terraform to bring up the infrastructure. I have the IAM.tf. I use in models. I have the IAM.tf whereby I specify all the roles that all the identity and access management that I need, both roles and permissions. You can see the IAM role for the code build, the IAM role, the ECR permission. Sorry, excuse me.
Hold on, we there for meeting.
Guys, please help me now.
Hi, Damin Lola, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Goodluck, are you
Imo,
facing
welcome.
any issue?
Yeah.
Hello, Goodluck.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Good luck. Can you, because of our time, can you be fast about the demo?
Okay. So the application is being dockerized, and the this is the run lambda function rollback system, and with that system is being deployed using a deployment helper script, which is what I named the deploy.sh script. So I will go to my CLI. I'll be able to run the deployment.sh script, which will deploy the infrastructure and then trigger the pipeline. And also, the pipeline can also be triggered manually from AWS code pipeline. So the deployment script is it has initialized the Terraform by using Terraform init command. Then it's also validated the Terraform by using the Terraform validate command. Then it's now planning, which is the Terraform plan. Actually, the deployment script will take a bit time. So it actually asks if I want to go ahead with the deployment after the plan stage has happened. So I will type a yes to go ahead with the deployment. So the deployment has completed. Now the is now building the uh, Docker images. Okay, I can see my. I need to start up my Docker desktop. Sorry about that. I need to start up my Docker desktop so that to be able to view the image and then deploy. So I'll run this. I'll repeat the scripts. One good thing about Terraform is that it commands 10 times, doesn't repeat whatever it has already deployed. So that is the advantage of using Terraform for infrastructure deployment instead of using maybe a Python script for that automation. I'm having an issue with the provider. Issue.
Okay, okay, good luck. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, good luck?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Uh,
I think because of
yes, I can hear
time,
you.
can you do a recording of this demo and send to us? Because of time, because we are uh, far ahead of behind of the scheduled time for this session, and then because we don't want to keep the people waiting for so long, can you do a demo of this very session and send to us? I think that would be very good, so that we can then share with people. I believe so many people are interested in this very practical session, but we also have to consider time. So if you can do a demo of this and send to us, I think that would be good. Is that fine?
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
Goodluck, can you
okay,
hear
good.
us?
Damilara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Imo. I'm
Good
trying
luck.
to
Can you hear me?
be
Okay,
sure.
okay, yes. Okay,
So
yes,
thank
Okay,
you very
I'll do that. I'll do that and get back to you.
okay.
uh,
Uh,
all right,
good luck.
all right,
Good luck.
Doc, that is
You have
good.
a
Thank you.
very hold on first. I mean, you have a very good and fantastic practical step to show. For the demo isn't a. Yeah, I think it would be very good if you send us the recording of the demo, then we can put it out there on our YouTube channel for the audience to go back and watch it. Does that make sense?
All right, that's fine. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. That
All right. All right, thank you. That's a great session. I know you all are waiting for the demo. I will do as much as we can to bring you that demo once we get the recording from Goodluck. Thank you, Goodluck, for your session. I believe there's so much we're going to learn in that demo too. So we are going to be waiting. Myself personally, I will be waiting to see that demo because anything that has to do with DevOps, like I said, I'm always interested. Mimi, you have something to say?
Yes, I think very much Dami, you have said everything. It was definitely a really, really amazing session. Unfortunately we couldn't really, get to see the demo, but just like you mentioned, we on our end would try our very best to ensure that we get it out to the audience and we're able to, use as much of it as possible. Because as much as we want you to learn, we are also very much committed to respecting your time as well. And here at the AWS community, we're always very big on keeping to our words. So if you say we're starting at this time, want to start at this time. If we're saying we're ending at this time, want to end at this time. If we're saying a session is, for X amount of minutes or hours, then we want it to be that way. So very much just like Dami said, we'll be trying to see how we could get the session over to you. But ultimately, it's been a wonderful experience with everyone. I've enjoyed every single person, right from the first speaker we had down to the second and then our final speaker. Dami has been an amazing co-moderator. I've enjoyed being on stage with him, giving us as much energy as possible, which is amazing. So, and our audience, for sure, our audience have been wonderful. From Nachi has been here from the beginning right to the end. Shout out to Nachi, shout out to Chelsea, shout out to Choma, Awodei, Raman, Uchechuku, Mr. Cyber, so many amazing people who have been here from the beginning to the end. And we're doing something great here, and I'm so happy that you guys are being a part of it and you're able to, gain as much impact as possible. So it's been an amazing session for me, honestly. I can't even lie. I'm so happy, so glad, so excited, and so much more to come tomorrow for sure in the physical session. So ensure to be there if you're in Lagos. Be there for sure.
Yeah,
Over
and
to you.
speaking about tomorrow's session, I can assure you there's a lot waiting for you. And then
Very
let me
correct.
give you this, even though I'm not supposed to say it, but let me just give you a tip. There will be prizes and there will be some gifts tomorrow. So I will say more than that. For those who will be available physically, they will tell you the full story. But I will say if you are in Lagos, you can always make your way to the physical venue tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be packed with so much more, so much
Mhm.
for you to learn. And then you'll be able to have a physical networking with, a lot of professionals in this industry. And so it's going to be good if you can show up tomorrow. We will be expecting you. I will be expecting you. Mimi will be expecting you. Everyone in the AWS community, West Africa, we will be expecting you. So
100%. Yes.
we are waiting for you tomorrow. It's because of you that we are having this program. So we
Mhm.
want you to show up tomorrow. So Mimi, I think we are about to end this session for today. What do you want to tell your audience? Maybe they want to hear something from you before we end this session.
Yeah, honestly, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. And the only reason why I'm even stopping is because if I keep on going, I might blab out all the surprises we have for you tomorrow. And we wouldn't want to ruin surprises here. So all I can say is watch out and be there in person as much as possible. Great things coming. Like Dami said, so many prizes and prizes ranging from different spheres, from the academia side down to the you see I'm already saying a lot, but so many amazing things, honestly. So many amazing things. There's going to be amazing refreshments from amazing people. It's I can't even stop saying amazing because it's going to be so packed with so many good things for you guys to see. So I'm really, really hoping to see you there. Dami is hoping to see you there. The entire community is hoping to see you there. And if you do come around, please ensure to connect. We're a family here and they were very big on growing as much as possible. You don't know what the other person might have, but you would not know until you come. So you see, so you need to come, you need to be there, you need to, come and have the experience in person and basically pack everything that should be taken. So ultimately, I am so happy for tomorrow. I'm happy for today. First off, it's been an amazing session, and I'm even so happy for tomorrow because when you're there in person, you're able to feel the energy right from the stage, and then you're able to basically gain even far much more. So please be there, don't miss it for anything. And it's been an amazing time with you here. Once again, I remain Mimi Swem, and over to you, Dami.
And before we end the session, let me also tell you this. We've spoken about prices. There's going to be a cutting tomorrow. Let me just also tell you this. That means
Yes.
you're going to see some things live, and there will be winner of a great prize, So there's a lot waiting for you tomorrow. Please do your best to come, and then as much as you can, invite others to come too. So we will be waiting for you at Zone Tech Park, Bagada, Lagos. That is where it's happening tomorrow. So see you all tomorrow in person, see you physically. And then, as Mimi said, as much as you can when you're around, please network with people. Peradventure, you see me tomorrow too. I don't mind meeting you and saying hi and getting to know you. Thank you for staying this long with us. It's been an amazing day, and tomorrow promises much more than this. So at this point, I will say thank you, good night, have a wonderful night rest, and we see you tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, goodbye, everyone. Have an amazing time. Bye bye.